Early in 2020, one dark night, I came across a shaman working secretively in the darkness below Spielberg Castle here in Brno. And ever since then, he and I seem to have some kind of interaction. And this is a video about that interaction. I've described that meeting, that initial meeting in the darkness, in some detail in my book, Chasing the Shaman, and I'm not going to repeat it here. I'm simply going to look at some of the things that I found left by him subsequently. Initially, it became obvious that there were two sites outside of my flat in Brno that he was doing something at. The first, you can see in the pictures now, relied totally on mostly man-made materials that he found, and this was to the right of my apartment. He used all kinds of man-made things to create these patterns and designs. Nobody saw them or seemed to see them except me, and I gave them significance. What could this mean? The second site was about 50 meters to the left of the house, and here he utilized natural materials to leave patterns. The patterns were continually changed. Every day, it seemed he would visit them, rearrange some of the stones, add stones, leave little offerings of cigarette ends and tobacco, use deer antler, bones, fossils, minerals, and other such things, and incorporate them into these designs. What did these designs signify? What was he trying to achieve? Sometimes he'd work other elements into this activity, such as this stack of files, which appeared to be related to buildings in Brno. And then it was back to his stone designs, which were always intricate, always interesting, always changing and shifting, and never really noticed by anybody else but me. And I would visit them each day, and occasionally I might add a stone of my own and see if he noticed. And he did. He often incorporated my stone into his design in a different position. We seemingly played a game of cat and mouse, where I would rush out and try to catch him in the act, but never did. He would leave his stones in other positions to, I think, energize in the sunlight, and I would add my stones there too, and again he would incorporate them into his designs. His designs always included telltale self-roll-up cigarette ends and tobacco, and I guess that this was his offering to whatever gods he worships. He certainly knew that I knew. He certainly knew that he had my interest, but once again, I could never catch him in the act, and I never identified him walking in the street. It became my little mystery. How to catch out the shaman, how to meet with this man, and find out what these ever-changing designs meant. As time went on and this ran into months, these designs started to simplify, becoming straight lines of stones and fossils and bits of wood. And then finally he started to round up all the stones, and he moved them away across a seating area and into another location where he simply piled them up in a nondescript design. It seemed like his activities were nearing an end, and I was disappointed, for I still not managed to find out who was doing this and what the purpose was. Occasionally, I'd find other things that seemed to be perhaps left by the same individual in that same seating area. Finally, in what was perhaps a goodbye, I discovered that where he was leaving all of the stones he'd been using behind this iron fence was written the following message: "I can hear the sound of the blood flowing through your body." This seemed to be from him to me. But to my amazement, just a few weeks later, as I dowsed a line through the streets of Brno, I came across 3 bollards. The bollards were dressed as men and women. and as I approached them closer and inspected them, to my utter amazement, I found the same telltale signs of my shaman. Little hand-rolled cigarette ends, tobacco offerings and quartz pebbles were hidden among the folds of the clothing that he had dressed the bollards in. Again, what could this mean? And was it possible that he knew I would find these since they sat on an energy line? And the discovery of these three figures seemed to mark the beginning of a new phase of my interaction. For everywhere that I went dowsing, I would find suspicious signs that could be attributed to the shaman. For example, who laid out these sticks and stones on top of a tree trunk that exactly matched the arrangement of the energy lines that I had just found at this very site? I've found subsequently many situations like this, and also at the church in Zheznovica, discovered a cross laid out in the grass in pebbles and with telltale hand rolled up cigarette ends. And then finally, as I followed what I now call Denny's line after my daughter, I came across this area that seemed to be some kind of a shrine and was littered with the kinds of things that I had come to know the shaman used in whatever his activities were. Now, I will admit that some of this could be wishful thinking, yet deep down inside, I think I know that somehow this shaman is playing a role in my activities here in the Czech Republic. The activities seem to correlate with major discoveries of lines in my dowsing activities, like the discovery of the church in Jindřichův Hradec, and its Templar artwork seems to correspond with that early set of arrangements left outside of my apartment. So, is there some purpose in this? Is there a relationship between him and I? It remains a mystery that I may never solve. But you can bet that everywhere I go, especially when I'm dowsing, I'm looking out for signs that the shaman was there before me, signalling to me yet again, the game is on. And so as you can see, I've been engaged in this 2-year game of some kind, ritualistic, magical game with a shaman here in Brno. Or, maybe with my own imagination, I'll leave you to be the judge of that. Nonetheless, there are other aspects to this story that I've left out because I didn't have any video or photographic evidence, such as the meditation that I had in a Rotunda Slavic church in which I made contact with the Slavic shaman who told me that his name was Vlk Vzduk, Wolf's Breath. The game goes on, and whatever game it is I'm playing, it certainly seemed to have led me on a magical mystery tour, exploring the web of weird here in Moravia. And it's a wonderful thing. It's added a perspective to my life that I never knew I would experience. That of playing a role in some mysterious, magical exploration of self and environment and planet. If you've enjoyed this video, please do like, share and subscribe. It helps me out a great deal and I'll be eternally grateful. If you by chance have any ideas about what some of those stone designs may signify or what this shaman was doing, please do either leave some comments in the comments below the video or shoot me an email. I'm all ears. Thank you. Bye.